Here is the supplemental video that's in number 2 in our Effects on Violin series for week 4, talking about impulse responses with my friend Andrea Casta, an amazingly talented violinist and DJ out of Italy. It is crazy hard to do interviews in your second language or third. I don't even know which English is for him. He does a fantastic job with this. I'll tell you guys some behind the scenes information. I had a technical issue on my end. I did my whole interview with him. I went to listen back to it. The audio was unusable. So I had to call him back. It was late at night in Italy. I was like, bro, I'm so sorry. He was very gracious. He redid the interview for us. And yeah, super fantastic guy. I'm going to play a short music video so that you guys can see what it is that he does. You'll be able to hear his violin in this video a little bit. And then a chat with him, which I think you're going to find very informative and enjoyable. And hopefully you will be a new fan of this guy. He's amazing. Good guy. I love him. Yeah, so thanks for joining us. You're at your home in Rome, Italy. Just got back from a gig in France. Very cool.
Yeah, Matt. Thanks for having me in this amazing series that you are working on. Yeah, I'm back from France. I had my opening show of a big exhibition in Cannes yesterday night, and now I'm ready to talk with you about the secrets of my sound.
Yeah, so one of the big secrets to your sound, besides like being an amazingly talented violinist, is your use of a custom IR that was built for you, right?
Yeah, I had this collaboration with Drap Sound, an amazing studio here in Rome, run by Riccardo D'Acunto. He's a very talented sound engineer with a lot of experience in producing, and we only translate the electric guitarist experience to the violin.
So IRs, basically an IR ends up being like a super custom EQ that he
Yeah, it's something
records
like
you.
that.
He records you playing your acoustic violin, and then he records you playing your electric violin. They sort of calculate the difference and then create like this file, right?
Yeah, as you said in the previous episode, the EQ is like a sculpting process, like a piece of marble, and I love the metaphor you used because it's like the concept that you can cut something and you can't add nothing. But coming to IRs, impulse response, the process is slightly different because it's a sort of EQ, but you work on the room, on the size of the sound, the resonance, and even if I'm not a sound engineer or a sound scientist, I can understand using IRs that you are working on the chamber, on the presence and how can I say it well, on the dimension of the sound. And it's so important because you can capture in the process your own playing with your own instruments. You can get the sound from your own acoustic violin and translate this sound on your own electric violin. This is the most important match that you have to do.
Yeah, so you're using that it's a wave file that has that IR in it. And then
Yeah,
you're using a Helix product, right, to use that when you're playing live?
yeah. I use Elix and I show you my little uh, pedal board that I use for my gigs with a wireless system, with a pre that I use to change on the fly the resonance, the gain, and a general EQ of the sound, and the Helix where I have all my patches saved. In my concert where I play from 20 to 25 songs, I have one patch for each song because I have different EQs, different amount of reverb and delays. And of course, at the beginning of my chain, I put the IR. I use it 100%, and with a little bit of low cut. My suggestion is to cut a little if you use a five strings violin like I use on the low cut, like around 150 hertz, and then I add a little bit of EQing in after the IR, and I don't need to EQ a lot. I think I use a little details in EQing to adapt my sound on the backing track or on the environment that I'm playing in, or I playing along in the case of backing tracks, because the IR is a well detailed and sculpted sound, and when you use a custom IR, you don't need to cue a lot to adjust the final result of your sound.
Yeah, that's true because it's basically functioning as an EQ for you, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then you did mention you put that very first in your chain so that everything else happens. You're using that affected signal with your reverb and your delay and all that, right?
yeah. I made this choice because it's a custom sound, so it's exactly what I wanted to my violin sound. For example, I use Zeta as my principal instrument, and I use a Cantini, this one, and I have another one, the Giva, and these three instruments have in common that they have a chamber. In Zeta is closed, Cantini is a hollow body, so it's open like a classic instruments. In Giva is closed, but this chamber gives the kind of sound that I want. Someone prefer the completely silent instruments, the solid body instruments. I prefer the hollow body instruments, and I think that to add the IR, it's easier on a electric violin that has a chamber because you can enhance the harmonics that the natural sound of the instruments gives. And even if there's different kind of transducer, because for example, Giva has a piezo, a classic piezo on the bridge, the Zeta and the Cantini has different magnetic pickups, but in any case, they this kind of technical choices give you the chance to pull out more harmonics as possible from the electric violin, and the IR enhance this process.
Yeah, so you and I have both been doing this long enough that we were doing this before IRs. What has the IR really done for your sound? What were the things that you were trying to do before to get your sound that the IR has allowed you to get away from?
Yeah, this is a good question. IRs changed the starting point of the process because it works completely on the sound that you play. So when you talked about effects like EQing, reverb, delay, or different modulation that you can add, like a preamp, you can find something that is not so well chained with your sound. When you put the IR that a custom IR is a picture of your acoustic violin, and you can recognize it when you play. So you know that the recognizability is, I think that is one of the most important goal that you have to reach as a musician. Use IRs for me gives me more recognizability. It allows me to sculpt and reach a stable kind of sound, a style that is recognizable in every music field that I'm going to play, from electronic to crossover when I play with bands or orchestras. So my sound now is Casta sound.
Yeah, and it's a good sound. You always sound great.
Thank you so much, man. But
When
I'm still working, as you as we all, because as the musician path is to uh, higher the level each and every day by trial and error, trial and error.
Yeah, for sure. It's like we do, you spend, I feel like we spend a lot of time just trying to get our sound exactly right. It's not just like with an acoustic, we have to figure out how to make the instrument work right. And the electric is the same way, but then there's the added dimension. We have to get the signal processing right too.
Yes, of course, and I think that my choices to use the custom IRs gives me the chance to put closer the experience of a acoustic violin player to the electric one. Even if I have to say to the spectators that doesn't know me so well, that I 100% electric violin player. I never play acoustic violin in public, and that's why I tried to put all my effort on the electric instruments to pull out the sound that I wanted.
Yeah, same. You will not see me playing an acoustic in public almost never. Every now and then, but not very often. So
Yes, because
where can
yeah.
people find your music and where can people listen to you and then maybe how would they catch you on tour over the next year or so?
Yes, over the next year, I think we are planning a European tour and then to come back to US maybe, like I did before for Miami Music Week, or in the electronic and dance environment where I mostly played before COVID. After COVID, I steered into more reconnection time with my Italian audience, and that's why I did a 2 years theatrical tour in Italy, very successful in the big theaters. I will end in December the tour in Bologna, and 2024. I hope I will come to visit you in Durham as well, my friend.
Awesome. And people can find your music on your YouTube channel. Is that where the best place is?
Yeah, YouTube, Instagram, all social media. I have a website too, andreacasta.com. And we will chat about violin, electric violin soon. I hope also in the groups that we share together on Facebook. So I really appreciate the way you are. You are an ambassador, you all, and EUS are ambassadors of our kind of instruments, and more electric violin players are a good thing for every one of us.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for sharing your time and your expertise with us. And we'll keep following you on the social media networks, and hopefully we'll get a chance to hang out in person here maybe next year.
Yes, I hope so. Ciao, Matt. Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Andrea.